Welcome to The After Show, the show where we bring it to you raw and real about our favorite mainstream and reality TV shows and the actors we love or love to hate. Tonight we'll be talking about Tyler Perry's The Have and Have Nots. And trust me, no topic is off limits. But before we do that, let me introduce you to the guys on the couch. Guy number 2, say hello to the people.
Hi, I'm guy number 2. Pull up and have a seat, because you're in for a real treat.
Guy number 3, talk to the people.
This is guy number 3, and I'm ready to get it in.
He's ready to get it in, and we're ready to get it on. But to get it on, we're going to need a female perspective. Trinity, say hello to the people.
Hello, everybody. And you know, everything takes balance, and I have that balance with the female perspective.
Balance. And of course, I'm your host with the most, CC Cowan, a.k.a. the Talk of New York, and we're about to get into it. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go. All right, you guys, we are back with another episode of The After Show, the hottest show on podcast, the hottest show on BEG Radio. Well, maybe not the hottest show on BEG Radio. That would be the CC Cowan Show. Anyway, we give the hottest reviews and the hottest opinions as we discuss the hottest shows on mainstream and reality TV. We're back for another episode of Marriage Bootcamp Reality Stars, Season 9, Episode 5, hosted by Dr. Ish Major, Dr. Venus Nicolino, and Judge Lynn Toller of Divorce Court. Yeah, and look, guys, it was a great episode, so I want to jump right into this thing. Let's talk about that Dylan and that Amy. Drove me absolutely crazy. I want to start off right now with guy number 2. Talk to me about Dylan and Amy in this episode. I mean, the condescending tone that Dylan takes with Amy, and she constantly complaining about the way that he talks to her. What do you make of this relationship?
Dylan's ego is completely out of control. I don't understand where he's coming from. But don't be fooled. I really feel that he and Amy can go toe-to-toe. I just feel like sometimes when he's speaking to her, he just forgets who he is and who he's talking to. But, you know, I think that these two, as a couple, they're very equally yoked. So we're just going to have to see how that unfolds.
Do you agree with that, Trinity?
They are a match. I don't think that he thinks he's better in any way, but there's trouble in the water. I mean, they wouldn't be there if there wasn't trouble in the water. And he just has to come up another level and he can't believe that he's talking to a child that needs to be chastised. Like, it's almost as if, gee, if I don't tell her something, then she won't know. I don't think that's the way it comes across in his tone. If he doesn't tell her what to do, then she won't know what to do. And that's just not true in all, every time he opens his mouth.
Listen, I agree. Look, here's my thing about this, right? I believe in vibration and energy. I believe that we're all vibration and energy, coming from the source of all good vibrations and good energy, right, which is God. But here's my thing, without getting too far into the spiritual side of it. I believe that we connect at a certain point in our lives with the people that we connect with because our vibrations are matched or aligned at that time. And so I believe that if Amy believes that Dylan treats her like a child, it's because she somewhere in her life at some point right now is acting like a child. So you kind of get what you give off. You know what I mean? Like, you attract what you are. You attract what you are. So I don't... Now, look, like a magnet, you can also pick up some things that you necessarily weren't trying to attract, right? So if you try to pick up a paper clip with a magnet, but if it's on the floor and there's in a pile of lint, you'll get some lint with it, right?
Exactly.
So you might get, So you have to know when to pluck that stuff off and keep it moving. So my thing is, if you have a man or a woman who's treating you like a child and you don't like it and you tell them once, twice, and 3 times, then you kind of just have to keep going. And I think that's what Amy should do. Maybe she just wants them for the money. What do you think, guy number 3? Is she there for the money?
I don't think she's there for the money. I think she's there really to get counseling on her relationship with Dylan. I think they have a lot of trouble in their relationship as far as, their communication skills is all, in whack. And they don't know how to talk to each other because they're so young and immature. They got a lot of immaturity going on between both of them. And I think they both need to just grow up and try to work it out and put their lives back together again. I think they could have a beautiful relationship if they move past all the him treating her like a child and then turn around everything on her and playing the blame game.
Okay. Well, all righty then. Look, Dr. Guy number 3. Okay, you guys, let's talk about Victor and Gabby for a minute here, because these two argue daily, and they argue all throughout the day. So, look, it is my opinion that Victor and Gabby are mirror images of each other. I think I've said this before, that they're mirror images of each other. And I wanna ask Trinity, what do you think is really behind them arguing every day? Because they're arguing over the same thing every day. So that, to me, tells me that there's something else there. Because who can beat a dead horse like all day, every day, the same dead horse? Eventually, there won't be a horse.
No, you're absolutely right with that, Mr. C. They drag on the past, and they're kind of using the child as glue, because I don't think either one of them wants to go away from the other one. I honestly don't. I thought they were doing well, at first at the top of the show. And then all of a sudden they revert right back to that what you said, that dead horse. I'm not sure what the underlying thing is. The sister appears to be out of the way, hopefully mentally and physically out of the way. I think that they probably need to have their own place, not their own room in her parents' house, their own place. I think that probably the house, her parents' house, is a crutch, in a way. I don't think neither one of them know how to be independent. Mm-hmm. And so that might be a part of it, too. She's looking to him for a certain level of independence, and he's probably just not there with it. True enough, he only has a little bit of family here and there. I don't know, if there's a close relationship there or not. I know his dad is not available. But see, so they're dependent and then pulling away from each other, and I think using her parents' house as the crutch. Do you see either of them even talking about leaving and having their own apartment, their own house, or whatever? Never heard talk of that. And it might be best for the son. They have a young son, so it might be best for the son, too.
It might be best. And, that makes a lot of sense. But here's the thing, and it kind of almost proves my point a little bit, or gives weight to my point. How can you leave your reflection?
Okay.
Every time you look in the mirror, your reflection is there. That's why they can't part from each other, because they're one and the same person. Look, RuPaul told me that. Anyway, let's move on.
Okay.
I swear that Gabby is literally Victor in drag. So look, guys, let's move on, because I want to talk about Renee and Prima Donna before we get into the meat of the show of this episode. Renee and Prima Donna, these girls are sitting on the sideline coaching everybody. You shouldn't do this. Wait a minute. Don't talk to her like that. How about you get up and you go over there? Don't talk to him like that. And, you got a problem, and I don't want you with him, but I want you with him, but I don't. Really? Guy number 3, weigh in on the, Renee and Prima Donna show that's taking place on the sidelines while everybody else is trying to work out their issues.
Well, I think Renee and Prima Donna is trying to bring some continuity to the couples. They're trying to make the couples, come together. But they're having troubles in their own relationship, so they can't really pull them together until they face the problems in their relationship before you try to work on someone else's. Like you said, don't throw a stone in the glass house.
Well, look, how many times have we all heard of that? All. You know what? You should leave him. I wouldn't go through that. I wish somebody would do that to me. Meanwhile, you got a man who ain't giving you no money, laying up in your house, beating you down, cussing you out, slapping your kids in the head, not claiming your children, and sleeping with your girlfriend downstairs. Yeah, we done heard it. We done seen it.
That's just a lot of busyness right there.
It's a lot of busyness. But look, guys, the doctors did something really ingenious this episode, and they continue to just surprise me. They did a game with the guys. They played a game with the cast members called the Blame Game, where they had all of these plates, and on the plates were written words. And so basically each couple had to go shopping for plates and pick out the plates which represented their most serious issues in the relationship. And so what they were looking for was who would actually take responsibility and or blame or point blame on someone for those particular issues. And I thought that was ingenious. And if you were willing to take blame or take responsibility for a particular issue, then you had the right or the opportunity to break that plate and thereby breaking that issue. Did you guys find that to be ingenious? What did you guys think?
Yes.
It was incredible.
I like that idea. I really did. Yeah.
I liked it too. It was very good.
Yeah. So I got a question before we go to my other questions about the show. Trinity, if you had to go shopping for at least one plate that represented your issues, your biggest issue in a relationship, past or present, what word would be on that plate?
Oh, geez. And I consider myself a pretty daggone good communicator, but I'd have to say communication. And when I say that, in the heat of an argument, I'm the only one that I hear, and that's unfair when you're. God, I'm talking to myself right now, and that's unfair when you're when you're talking to another adult, when you're at the height of your emotion with another adult, and you are the only person that you hear. That's a problem. That's unfair. That's unbalanced.
Wow. I love that, because a lot of people couldn't even admit that. A lot of people couldn't even admit that. And I'm going to jump back to that later on in the show.
I love it.
Guy number two, tell me, if you had to go shopping for a plate that pointed to your issue in a relationship, past or present, what word would be on that plate?
It's really interesting. I think communication as well. I do pride myself on being a good communicator. I just, sometimes things get lost in the sauce. We all have our own interpretation of self. So when we're saying what we think we're saying, we're not really saying what the other person can hear. So I think that's my biggest thing. Communication would definitely be my plate.
Communication.
Uh-oh, we're starting something here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Start something here.
And so I want to ask the same question of guy number three. If you had to go shopping for a plate that speaks to your issue in a past or present relationship, what would that plate say? What word would be on that plate?
Trust.
Ooh.
Right.
Ooh. Okay. Why trust?
Because in my former relationships, we always had an issue with trusting each other. As far as, who's going to go out and do something wrong, or who's going to go out and be the first one to cheat. And it wasn't always about, the person going out to cheat. It was just, we was both being young and in a relationship and didn't know what to do, basically. We were just young and in love and thought, each one of the others was going to cheat on each other.
Wow, that's deep, you guys. Don't you think that's deep?
Yeah, it is. Wow.
That's really deep. Now, what would be on my plate? Maybe a little lasagna.
My dish too was on it.
Okay.
Some fried calamari, a little lasagna, or something like that, some fresh avocado. I don't know, something like that. I think the issue that would be on my plate would probably not be communication, and it probably wouldn't be trust. It would be expectation. Expectation. And I say expectation because I believe in relationships, I supply all. Like, whatever you want, I'll give you. Like, that's fine. Like, what do you need? What do you need to be perfect in this? And I don't know if perfect is the word, but according to that person's perception of what they think perfect is, what do you need for me to make you feel like everything is working for you? And I supply it. So now my expectation is once I give you the things that you need, that you will perform at, at your peak, at your pinnacle. And if you don't, then I have an issue because I've expected you now to perform at a pinnacle because I've taken away your worry. I got your bills covered. I got, you know what I mean? I got you. I'm sexing you to death. I'm giving it to you. You ain't going to get it no better. You understand what I'm saying? Like, all of these things, I'm meeting your needs. I'm affectionate. I'm thoughtful. Like, okay, I'm not going to disrespect you. That's not what I do. I don't believe in cursing out, fighting, and beating, belittling, and badgering people that I date. And I'm territorial and very protective. And so I got you. So my thing is, if you don't perform now, why aren't you performing? What's going on? Yeah. So now maybe if Dr. Ish and Dr. V, you guys, if you're listening, if you're tuned into this episode of the After Show, maybe you could give us some feedback on some of our issues.
About that. Tune in for a minute.
Absolutely. So look, the doctors had made mention that there were some very big egos that came into play when it comes to the blame game. People blaming other people, everyone else for their failures in life. And this was a quote from Dr. Ish. He said, big egos are in play. People like to blame others for their failures. Tell me, Trinity, who did you see that, on the show that blamed, everyone else for their failure? Who was that for you on the show?
What? Isn't it Renee, Joey? Is it? I think her boyfriend's name is Joe. The reason I say it's Joey is because he wants to remain so isolated. Just when I think they're making some progress, because we're in the fifth week, right?
Right.
He reverts right back. He shuts right back down. I know this is a prior show, but I thought he was going to jump on the little kid that was, not impersonating him, but the smaller Joey. So and even in this show, everything is just a nix off, just a nix off. And then it throwing shade on Renee, saying, that she's a drama queen, and don't start acting like this, and this everything to kind of keep it away from him. Right. So he would be my pet peeve. I see where Pri is coming from automatically, but he's my pet peeve.
Okay. Yeah, he's not very forthcoming, and he kind of, let's throw the paint over there. And I don't want any of them to splash on me. Gotcha. What about you, guy number two? Who's that for you? Who's the blame thrower, in the group?
Well, I'd definitely go with JP and Ashley. They're, as we said, mirrors of one another, but they don't even want to insult one another, so they try to, what do they call it? They try to counsel each other through their situation. But I feel like they don't blame one another, but they just don't want to own it. It's like, I'm going to throw the baseball to you, but I don't want you to necessarily catch it. And then I'll pick it back up and I'll throw it back to you, but you don't have to catch it either. It's like that doesn't get you anywhere. It's a brick wall. So I thought it was funny that they both ended up getting the pie in their face because I said, see, you all are, y'all are throwing blame at one another, but you really don't want to take any ownership. So it was hilarious to me.
Yeah, I noticed that about those two, and we're going to talk about the fact that JP and Ashley tend to kind of protect each other. I think they came in with a plan, and we're going to disrupt that plan a little later on in the show. What I want to say is that, Victor and Gabby constantly go back and forth at each other, and Victor constantly blames Gabby's dad for talking down to him and wanting him to bow down to him and so forth. So he's always putting blame. Oh, you think I should bow down to your dad because I don't have a place? All of these things that he's premeditating in his mind and coming up with, conjured up in his mind because he has some personal insecurities. It's actually ridiculous and it's sad in my mind, because I said, look, this guy is blaming her dad, blaming the sister. He's living with them and all of these different things. Meanwhile, people fall on hard times. In this country today, people are having hard times. People who had great wealth and had, great financial security are now finding themselves living with their parents. They're finding themselves working jobs where they have to, not permanent jobs, like temporary jobs, and making far less than they deserve. But somehow they find a way. I'm trying to find out why Victor hasn't found a way. I'm trying to find out why Victor doesn't have a mother, father, sister, brother, aunt, uncle, cousin, god brother, best friend, somebody he went to high school with, or a dog that he could bunk with, other than Gabby, if she's so bad and her family is so condescending.
Right.
Okay. And so, maybe
I was alluding to that. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, guy number 3, tell me, what is your opinion about that? Do you agree with that, or maybe you can see something that I'm not seeing?
I think Victor, he places the blame on Gabby for his cheating and all his other insecurities that he got on with himself. He got a lot of issues going on, and him not finding work and staying at their parents' house is his, is his thing. He needs to get off his duff and find a job and find a place for them to stay. If this is what you want to do, and don't use that as no excuse for why you want to blame everything on everybody else for your life not being right. So I agree with you, Mr. Cowan. It's correct.
Thank you. I mean, it's sad. It's sickening is what it is. Look, but Trinity had made a point about Joe kind of playing the blame game, too, and tossing everything into Renee's lap. I need to ask you guys, and I'm going to go down the line very quickly. Renee and Joe, is this a real couple? Are we being duped?
Okay. That's a good question. Are they just playing it there? Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question.
Yeah. Okay, so guy number two, weigh in.
We're definitely being duped. I think there's too many snickers and snares and a little laughter and a little stirring of the pot whenever it comes to these two, because the arguments seem a little bit more too contrived than what we actually lead on. And Renee is not a big smiler or laugher, so I'm definitely not buying it. Not buying it.
Okay. What about you, guy number 3?
I think they're a real couple. I think Joe just have a problem opening up. It's like he's a closed trap, and it just won't. He needs hard pulling it out of him. It's like pulling a chicken's teeth. The chicken doesn't have teeth, so trying to get anything out of him to open up about his feelings is so hard, because he's not a person that has, feelings about anything. So I think she has, a good love for him, but I think he has no feelings as far as opening up about his feelings for her.
Okay. He said like a chicken, pulling the teeth out of a chicken. Okay. And listen, it's hard to do because the chicken ain't got no teeth. But what about you, Trinity? Do you agree? Like, is this a real relationship, or are we being duped? Really?
It's she's very open. I don't know. Like, he's not. Oh, again, we go back to progress. I'm not sure if he's even made any or not. I don't know if they're real. Because, come on, they've been grown for a long time. What are you talking about? We don't want to tell her dad. I can revert back to that. He knows now if he's watching TV anywhere, or he knows somebody that has a TV that's watching it. He knows now. You know what I mean? So what is he going to... I don't know.
Trinity, that is funny. That is funny. Now, that's funny. Look, because the Flintstones had a TV, okay?
Yeah. TV and knows him and owns him. Now you know.
Okay.
I can't with you, Trinity. I can't. Here's my opinion, you guys, about Renee and Joe. I think this is contrived. We will go in very quickly on these little fake couples coming on the show to get a check. Now, here's my thing with these guys. Even if they are a couple, which I don't believe that they really are a couple, they could be, though. But if they are, on a slim chance that they actually are, I don't believe that they have all the problems that they're claiming they have. One, Renee is a very strong personality. And she's used to all the crazy, manic behavior. Yeah, she's used to it. And even with her, the relationship that was sparsely revealed to us on Mob Wives, Renee kind of has a way of just surviving and dealing in that environment, certainly growing up in an environment where men are such an authority in the relationship.
Yeah.
She knows how to deal with men who aren't forthcoming or who are secretive and hold back information, or who kind of look at women as you just cook and do what I say and don't have any real feeling. They're used to that. So to say that this right here now, what Joe is doing, it would be a bother to her enough to go to counseling, garbage. I love Renee, though. I like looking at her. Renee is beautiful.
Oh, yeah, I like
long,
her.
pretty dark hair.
It's just...
Yeah.
She might have somebody, though, too, now that I'm thinking about it. It's just not on this show.
Yeah, this Beetle Bailey she showed up with on the show, I'm not buying it. Not buying it at all. It's Beetle Bailey. It is Beetle and Bailey. So look, you guys, since we're talking now about things that we don't believe, let's talk about JP and Ashley, okay? Because this is BS. This is BS. And look, while I do believe that they are actually in a relationship, this showing up on Marriage Boot Camp to kind of get up here and not reveal anything, you want me to believe that you're Tinkerbell and he's Peter Pan, or she's Peter Pan and he's Tinkerbomb, take a bow, really take a bow, guys. Take a bow, go home. It's go home. So, guy number 3, talk to me about JP and Ashley and their lack of really sharing the truth about what's really going on in their relationship. Or do you think they actually share it? Is this all they have to give? Is this all they have to offer us?
I think they're a dupe. I think they're not a real couple. I think it's something more going on than that, because they don't seem like they're opening up about anything on the show. You often hear couples arguing or fighting about something. They ain't got really nothing, nothing juicy going on in their relationship worth, fighting about or trying to get back together about. What seems to me like it's a dupe.
It is a dupe. It's white bread or wheat bread. Honey, do we have white bread? Do we have wheat? Do you have wheat? I really didn't want wheat. I wanted white. White? What about rye? Oh, we could get rye. And then it's Happy Land all over again. It's Candyland. People are sliding down peppermint sliding boards. It's ridiculous. Guy number 2, weigh in on JP and Ashley.
JP and Ashley are like Cool Whip on applesauce, pointless. I just don't understand them. I mean, they're sitting up here, they're looking at each other like, well, y'all, we don't have anything that is really going on and all sort of stuff. But then when Ashley had her little breakdown right before she was getting the pie in her face anyway, I was like, are you serious right now? I mean, what are we looking, stage left, stage right? Because you need to walk off stage. That was an act. And I just thought it was hilarious because I was like, what's this chick doing? Oh, now you want to complain? Now you want to complain because you don't want a pie in the face. Yeah, because we can see right through you. So, JP, Ashley, stage left, out.
It's very stage left. It's goodbye. It's goodbye. Trinity, very quickly on these two as they exit.
I can't, I can't with them. I can't. It's like they're holding back. Like they're holding back something. I don't even know if anybody has asked this question either, on the after show or on Marriage Boot Camp. Why are they there? I'm so serious right now. Why are they there?
Exactly.
Because everything, once the professionals that do this for a living and are passionate about it say something, there's always some pushback from them. There's nothing wrong. I grew up well. Had both my parents. I went to this school. I went to that school. Well, my parents did cheat, but that didn't bother me. I mean, come on. Wait a minute. Why are you here? Because we made a mistake. Maybe we need to send you out and bring a couple that actually could use our help here.
Exactly.
I don't understand why they haven't been interrupted and sent because they don't need help and bring a couple in that actually does need help.
Thank you.
I think it's unfair to what Marriage Boot Camp stands for. I think it's unfair. Because every time somebody says something, even somebody on, but that needs help in their relationship as well says something to them, and even when the pros, when they say something to them, they, okay, fine, but no, that's not true. But no, that's not true. We help ourselves. What are you doing here then? These are your dismissal papers.
Their biggest issue,
I don't get it. Their biggest issue is nothing. I don't get it.
It's green tea or chai.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Okay.
Oh, their son. Oh, that's why they're there. I remember it now. Because he comes way after their son. Isn't that right?
Yeah,
because
something like that. Yeah. He comes way after towards her. Yeah, who cares? It's like, that's not an issue. That's not an issue.
How did they pass the screening? Oh my God! You know what? We need to be on the screening team to see who gets to come on.
Listen,
marriage boot camp.
Trinity, this is what I've been talking to Dr. Ish about, on the cut. Anyway, we need to be on set for next season, you guys. At WBEG-DB, on set. I don't talk to you, Dr. Ish. We need to help you guys. We need to help you guys pick these people that come up in the house.
Yeah, because we need. Yeah, because when we see on camera, yeah.
Like,
whatever the screening process is, let's all go through it.
It's like no, Joe. But look, and here's the reason, you guys. Ashley, in one of the scenes, typical white girl fashion, right? Victor decides that he's upset. He doesn't want anyone to say anything else to him in the house. He's upset because they're taking, Gabby's side and in a conversation. So he storms off and he throws something that he had in his hand. He throws it, I think it's a small water bottle or whatever. He throws it on the floor and it rolls. So Ashley is like in an entirely other room. Mm-hmm. And she says, oh my God, he's getting violent. I feel unsafe. I can't take it.
Now, house full of people.
This thing is across the mansion. She's across the mansion. He's getting violent. I can't take it. So, it's sickening. It's sickening. Because she doesn't have a problem, she can worry about the weather. Oh, my God, it's raining. That's an issue. Oh, my God, it's cold out. It's really cold in here now. It's an issue because I don't have any of my own. But, look, let's move on, you guys. I want to talk to you guys about the fact that Victor, I want to revert back to them, Victor and Gabby. Now, Victor admitted that Gabby was actually the side piece. He was already in a relationship, prior to dealing with Gabby, and that she was actually the side piece that got pregnant. What do you think about that guy, number two?
Well,
I thought that was just, a turn of events. Because what he did was he left the relationship and cheated, and now he's having a problem with cheating in his current relationship. I just think that that's kind of sad. He put that on himself. So I think all of this stuff that he's getting, he put out there, and now it's coming back to him. It's meeting him right where he stands. So he really doesn't have an issue other than himself and his attitude and his displacement. So he better get it together.
At the house, is anybody working?
I don't even know. They're probably floating around there eating Cheetos all day. Who knows? I mean, it's just, again, you have...
now I'm really starting to think about this. I'm really starting to think about this. Wait a minute. Is everybody home all day with a small child?
Yeah, that's part of the problem.
Listen, them things is living in the Bronx on the Grand Concourse. Everybody home. Everybody home. Don't try it. There's plantains being cooked all day long. Somebody's cooking plantains. Everybody's home. Somebody's running around in a dirty pamper. Don't try it. Everybody's home.
My goodness.
Well, somebody needs to cut in and change tires and do some other stuff because this is ridiculous.
Change some oil or
I just think these two, they're destined for disaster. They're destined for disaster because, like you said, they are mirror images of one another. And they probably would do better if they were both outside the house with their son and making their own life because I think that they both have their ears pricked for everybody else with their third-party comments, and it makes it worse. Because anytime you got a twin sister that's more preoccupied with what's going on between the two of them, it's a recipe for disaster. It's stir-fried crap. So You got to look past them and just kind of help them through their little crap little situation. You know, it's just bad. That's just bad. But it's funny.
There's twin bunk beds in the room that they share. I believe that Victor and Gabby is in one bunk bed. Like, she's on top and he's on the bottom. Hint. And the other twin is on the other bunk, and then we don't know, because them Latinos, Latin people, they have 13,000 people living in the house with them, so they probably got Uncle Juarez on one of the bunks.
I love it.
and a Chihuahua on the mat in between the bunks. I don't know what's going on, but I want them to get it together. I want them to get it all the way together quickly before the season ends. Let's talk about someone else who is working my last nerves. And I told you I wasn't going to pull any punches on this thing. That prima donna. That prima donna.
Bring it down the house, Free.
That prima donna. That prima donna. And it seems that Trinity really likes prima donna. So I'm going to let I'm going to let the press secretary, Trinity, for prima donna. Listen, guys, I'm going to let prima donna's press secretary, Trinity, tell us why she's so engaged by prima donna. And then I'm going to tell you what I think of prima donna about this episode and the last one. So, Trinity, what is it about prima donna that makes you now want to be her press secretary?
No, Free, you got to expect it from Free. Like, you just do. I tweeted last night that, just let the process go. She goes well for a while, then she gets stuck in neutral. I like they were even arguing about who could break a plate. Come on, let's break these plates. Free, jeez, it's not. It's an exercise. It's an excellent exercise. So, but where Pre is coming from. She's got this defense mechanism that is fierce. But it's fierce towards the man that, for everybody, but, it shouldn't be towards the man that, she loves. They say they're in love. Buck is still there, so, he loves her, but he's not going to take the final step until, these things get worked out. And the majority of it is her defense mechanism because she's been hurt. And, of course, this is life for adults. Who hasn't been hurt?
Here's the thing, Trinity. This is the thing that gets me. First of all, if I feel like you got to work some things out before I marry you, we're not even talking marriage. So the first time you bring that crap up to me, I'd be like, oh, no, we ain't doing that.
We're not doing
that. Well, why not? Look, why not? Because you're running around here like the Tasmanian devil. We ain't doing that. This is a clear indication that there is a problem and that there should be no marriage even in you should go, and I would go and black out. I would get me a permanent magic marker and I will black out the word marriage out of all the dictionaries and books in my house. I would just black them out. She would never see the word marriage. And so, guy number two, I want to ask you, would you even consider marrying someone who has so many issues with authority and respect and just flipping out? Would you even consider marrying someone like that, guy number two?
Heck no, because if I'm turned over and I have to be in bed, sleep, snoring, she's complaining about that. If I sit up too hard, she's complaining about that. If I leave the bathroom light on, she's complaining about that. Hell no, we're not getting married.
We're not getting married.
We're not getting married. What about you, guy number three? Because I know, listen, we're men, so we be honest here. There's women listening, and we know we got Trinity over here for the female perspective, and she gave us her perspective as to why she should be prima donna's press secretary. But I'm asking you, guy number three, would you marry a woman who's trying to back you into a corner and basically trick you into marrying her black widow behind? Tell me.
No, definitely not, because she has a lot of issues she has to work out before she can even consider getting married to anybody, first of all. I like prima donna. She's strong and she's intelligent, but she has a lot of issues going on as far as trust. And she takes the lead on everything, and she has to give Buck a chance to open up his mouth, which I don't think he does enough. and take the man role and wear the pants. Put the pants back on Buck or take them off you, and maybe our relationship will work.
Okay, that's exactly what I'm talking about. But let me ask you, I want to challenge something here, because you said something, guy number 3. You said, that she needs to kind of let him take the man role and, just kind of let him put his pants back on and, let him step up and stuff like that. But you also said that she's a strong woman. Why do we equate as a society, -1, because I'm going to step back because I don't do this, but I'm just saying you all, okay? Why do so many people equate loud, confrontational women with being strong women? Why is that the image of a strong? Because I'm a strong black woman. When you're loud, you're confrontational, and you're up in everybody's face, including your own man. Why do we do that? Trinity, tell me, why is that done? And why is it acceptable?
It's, you know what, it's not acceptable. If something is acceptable, then it doesn't need to be pushed. We can go into history with all that, but that's not what this show is all about. It's something that's being pushed. Having to, make, decisions alone, when you're raising a family, when you're raising children, having to make decisions alone. And then when someone, comes along that's ready to shoulder the weight and he says something wrong, he blinks his eye wrong, or he takes his shoes off and put them in the exact same position that the other one did, and that sent you flying, then, it just takes one little thing. That's why counseling is so necessary. And my hope for Pri is that she really absorbs this counseling and don't lose out again, because at first time it's on them. The second time it's on you, because you got help this time. You've got help. And not only that, you got professionals. You got these people, it's their job to root for you and see that your marriage life turns around. If she doesn't take advantage of that, it's on her. The neutralness or the pending failure of this relationship is on her. This is her ticket.
Well, I'm rooting for her too. I really am. I'm rooting for her to get a new stylist.
I'm rooting for them. I want them. I want her to drink in that counseling, first for herself and then for her relationship.
Well, sweetie, I'm rooting for her to get a new stylist, okay, and not a PR person over here in Trinity.
I love my weave sisters of all races.
Well, I wasn't talking about her hair.
I love your hair. I love your hair.
I wasn't talking about her hair, sweetie. I was talking about the fact that she was walking around this episode looking like a busted box of Fruit Loops. That's what I was talking about.
I thought that was a cute little set she had on.
It was a busted box of Fruit Loops.
She didn't have on her waist trainer, but,
We could tell. We could tell. That's why I said the box looked busted. It was a busted box of Fruit Loops. Last week she was running around here looking like Tony the Tiger in that leopard outfit. I was like, this is it. I'm done with these little short reactions.
You make your statement, prima donna. Everybody remembers you.
Oh, she made a statement, all right. Help. Okay? She needs a stylist. I don't know what's going on. And listen, that is nothing for anybody to mimic. Look, the outfit said literally, don't try this at home. That's the statement she's making. I wouldn't do it. I want her to get it together.
Make your own statement.
And look, I think Prima Donna is a pretty woman.
Yes,
okay?
She is.
I think she's pretty. I think that her attitude at times makes her very unattractive. Mm-hmm. I want her to lose that blonde hair. Lose it.
Just let it go. Let it go free.
Just let it go. Give it to Ashley. Give it to Ashley.
Oh, my God.
Give it to Ashley.
We don't know what we're going to do next week for free. It might be off.
Ashley is running around there looking like plain Jane. Give it to Ashley. But I will tell you this. The one thing that I will say about Prima Donna is this, because I'm always going to try to give at least a positive note, right? I see that as the episodes progress, she seemed to calm down a bit. So I love that. That's progress.
Yes.
And two, one thing about her outfits, and I hear she's very consistent in the outfits in the hair. You know, they're not great choices, but she's very consistent in it. And so what I do like about her is that she kind of just tips the scale a little bit when it comes to, you know, in her favor when it comes to not running around here in a blue wig, a burgundy wig, an orange wig, a green wig,
Right.
you know, all these different colors and all these different lengths of hair and horse hair and yak hair and goat hair and the lady here that died downstairs and then you went and got her hair. You know what I mean? So I can appreciate. I can appreciate the consistency that she shows there because I just really hate to see women changing, you know, wigs and hair every scene. It's a new wig and a new bunch of hair. Anyway, so. Right. Prima Donna, I am rooting for you. I see some progress. Let's talk about Buck really quickly, you guys, and then we're going to close out because I need to talk to you guys about Tyler Perry's The Have and Have-Nots. Oh, my goodness. So, look, let's talk really quickly about Buck. Now, Buck is so quiet lately. Is Buck on a sedative? I want you guys to tell me if Buck is on a sedative.
I was trying to figure that out.
Because he's like, Buck is floating through this whole season. He's floating. So, guy number 2, talk to me about Buck. What's going on with Buck?
I think Buck is floating in the bottom of a bottle of Hennessy somewhere. You know, I think he's self-medicated and just trying to float. You know, but he's doing his thing. I think because Buck is not as vocal, and he probably knows his triggers because he seems like he can go from 0 to 100 in like 2.2 seconds. I think he's trying to keep himself under the radar and above the fray because he already knows, okay, if y'all punch one too many buttons, I'm going to lose it. You know, I'll be in outer space in a second. So I think he's kind of keeping it low-key. But he does look like he's holding around in a bottle of Hennessy somewhere.
Okay for triggers and pressing buttons and stuff, you know what I mean? But isn't it true that the real definition of power and strength is self-control, like being able to control yourself and to lend power to someone else to help them reach a level of self-control that where they can exhibit a certain strength and power over themselves. So this whole I'm going to be quiet because I don't want my buttons pushed to me is weak, shows weakness. But I don't know. Let's get the female perspective on that. So Trinity, talk to me. Tell me about this Buck floating around as guy number 2 said in a bottle of Hennessy.
Now, Buck, in my opinion, has made his decision. I think he knows that he's holding the trump card in terms of because she's a pleasing woman. I mean, she wants to get married. She wants to have a husband, and she wants Buck. Buck on the low, know he's holding the trump card. Yeah, okay, she got a ring, but the one thing she don't want is a man that she pushed into marriage. Getting a ring is one thing, so that buys a reprieve. He told her, say, hey, your attitude's this, that, and the third. Let's get some help. Fine. So in terms of that, yeah. But, I mean, I think he can go off, but I think he's tired of it, too. I think he saw some, progress, if you want to call it that, with Pre. But I think he just then something else happened, and now he's locked back up in himself again. But he's holding that one trump card that she wants to get married. Seems like she wants to get married way more than he does. And at this point they've been together so long. Who's to say?
I think he could take it or leave it. It's a trip to Toys R Us. Personally, it's like go to Toys R Us and get a ring. Men don't really care about that. We don't really care about that. We don't really care about that. We don't really care. I can lay up in this bed with you for 30 years and not give you a ring, and I feel like I'm married to you. You're my girl, and I'm your man. That's it. Guy number 3, talk to me. What do you think about this situation? What's going on with Buck?
I think Buck is kind of laid back. I think he needs to open up. Let the tiger out of the cage, man. Come on now. Put the pants back on. Let the tiger out the cage. Grab them wigs and hide them and burn them. He definitely needs to get it together because he's so he's too laid back, and it's like it's stifling him from, being himself. I think he needs to just open up a little bit more and let his feelings out. I think he's closed up. ain't nothing wrong with being laid back, but in the same instance, you still have to voice your opinion on. And
like
let
you,
prima donna know where you. Yeah, let prima donna know how you feel. Let her know how you feel and what you feel about getting married too soon, and how it will be destructive to y'all relationship if y'all jump to this without counseling.
Listen, I love it. I think it makes a lot of sense. And who's more laid back than you, Rick Ross? I love it. Let's talk about the fact that guy number 3 recommended that, he suggested that Buck let the what was it? Let the tiger out the bag. What was it?
Let the tiger out the cage, baby.
Let the tiger out the cage. And if he does that on Marriage Bootcamp, they'll be changing the name because Prima Donna's running around there. I told you, looking like a leopard last episode. And he let the tiger out the cage. It'll be Marriage Bootcamp Zoo Stars. Okay? So I don't know if we want that. But look, guys, listen, I thank you guys for weighing in on this episode of Marriage Bootcamp Reality Stars. Season 9, Episode 5 was absolutely entertaining for us, and I know it's going to get better, as we progress in the show, in the season. And I think that Dr. Ish and Dr. V are doing a great job, Judge Lynn Toler as well. I'm looking forward to see what comes up next week. I think that there's going to be an explosion between Renee and Joe. Yeah.
Da, 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 da,
yeah.
da, da, da,
But you know what? He better be careful with the da, because there might be gunshots. That daddy ain't no joke. So look.
Okay.
That daddy ain't no joke. You better not mess with Renee Graziano. All right, look, I'm going to close this episode out, you guys, because we have a lot of talking to do about Tyler Perry's The Haves and the Have-Nots. And the folks have been waiting. We have 2 episodes to review, so we're going to do that when we come back. You guys at home, thanks for tuning into the after show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.